REC, I'm sure it's recorded.
Okay. Okay, welcome back to Skin Deep Sessions. Hopefully you've managed to catch our previous episodes by now and subscribed. We are going to be discussing laser hair removal today. So we've got Vanessa and Zoe, the experts in this area, and I'll be jumping in and out as well. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
So there's been a lot of talk about laser hair removal in the media recently. Some, influencers have been talking about it, didn't know that some things can affect hair growth coming back, and whether it's permanently removal or if it's just reduction, that sort of thing. So we're just going to get into that a little bit and just discuss some things that can trigger hair growth to come back after completing laser sessions for your hair. So, Bertha, do you got anything to add to that?
No, so basically, just to give a little bit of background about, so there's two types of, there's actually three types of hair removal out there at the moment. So we've got your IPL, which is the one we do here. IPL targets a larger area of melanin, whereas laser, which is another type, that targets a very individual area. So it goes a little bit deeper, should I say. And then you've got the electrolysis. Electrolysis, I'm not going to talk much about electrolysis to be fair, but electrolysis works on individual hairs. So you have to work with a fine needle on every individual follicle. For any big area, as you can imagine, that's really time consuming. But it's fantastic because whereas lasers and IPLs don't target white hair so well because there's no pigment.
And sort of grey, blondes, red, that sort of thing. So
electrolysis is really good for that. But like I said, that can be quite time consuming if you're having a full bikini or an underarm or So anyway, going back to IPL and lasers. None of them guarantee 100% hair removal. We work roughly between 80 and 90% of hair removal. So regardless of which type you choose, you will always be left with a rough guide of around about 10% hair. Some people are more, some people are less. It just depends from each person.
And I think that's something that people go into the sessions thinking that their hair is never going to grow back. So some people come in and be like, okay, cool, once I've done this, it's done. But then after you've completed the course, you still need to kind of have your top-ups here and there in case there is a little spurt of growth coming back. So I think that's something that's not sort of a myth, but something that a lot of people aren't aware of, that it is a possibility that your hair can grow back.
Absolutely, and that's down to individuals, that's down to triggers, life triggers, and that's down to your hormones. So everybody gets affected differently with their hormones. So, I always say on every consultation, the two biggest triggers that will encourage a new growth of hair is pregnancy and the menopause. Now, I've been doing this for years now, and I've had a lot of clients go through both pregnancy and the menopause, and it really is an individual thing. I've had so many that after pregnancy and menopause, it really hasn't made a difference. They've still had the same loss that they had before. But on the flip side of that, some people have obviously had spurts coming back. I've yet to have anybody who's had complete full hair growth back, but they've had spurts coming back. And so
I guess if you're keeping on top of it as well, if you notice that some of that hair's coming back, and then you're kind of catching it at that point, then
Absolutely.
you're preventing kind of further.
Yeah, the only thing with pregnancy is that you won't be able to have that treatment done while pregnant and breastfeeding.
That's right.
That's the only thing that you'd have to wait until you've completed breastfeeding, or if you've done, if you're ready to stop that, you can start again then.
Is there a certain time frame then after pregnancy that you have to wait, or just kind of once you feel well enough?
Yeah, so I tend to say after, it depends if you're breastfeeding or not. If after pregnancy, I would say, wait till everything's gone back to normal. Because straight after pregnancy, your hormones are all over the place. Yeah. So we kind of say, let everything settle down. I would say at least 3 to 6 months post giving birth. But obviously, if you're breastfeeding, then you need to make sure that that you don't come in when you're breastfeeding. And I know I've got clients that are like, why? And it's like everything with breastfeeding and pregnancy. things have never been tested on women who are breastfeeding,
Yeah.
because nobody wants to take that risk of trying it. So there may not be any harm at all, but nobody's ever going to take that risk, and we certainly wouldn't here. So so post-pregnancy or post-breastfeeding is the only time.
And so when people say, aside from pregnancy, menopause, if they've completed a course of IPL and they're happy with the results, are they then still recommended, say, like in 6 months' time, to come back in for a top-up, or is it just if they notice regrowth?
Both, really.
Yeah.
So if they haven't noticed any regrowth, then don't come back.
Yeah.
You know, we can't target something
Yeah.
that's not there. So I tend to say to people, right, you're at that stage now. The last couple of times that you've been here, you know, we're not getting any further. That 10% that you've got left on your body seems to be stuck. So that's it. You know, your course is finished. So go away. And then you come back to me if you see any hairs coming back through, and that could be 6 months, that could be 12 months, that could be 18 months, that could be 2 years. But also, it's really important to remember that as humans go, we actually all have 2 hair growths, and we have 1 hair growth that remains dormant in our body, and that's just normal for everybody. So that dormant hair growth at any point in your life can be triggered to come alive. Okay, and this is what happens when people have got really strong hormones. Hence, they say with pregnancy and menopause. You know,
and they say even with
it's your dormant hairs, not new hairs or new follicles growing.
Yeah.
It's your dormant hairs that sat there hibernating.
Going on from hormones, then there are other conditions that can affect your hair growth, such as PCOS, endometriosis, adenomyosis, and hirsutism, and I'm sure there are more as well. With those sort of chronic illnesses, then they are hormone based. Everything that causes you pain in those conditions are caused by your hormones. So going on from that, then I've had quite a few clients coming in with one of these conditions, and they're like, you know, for PCOS for example, one of the symptoms is hair growth, like extra hair growth than what you would normally find. And it's not a case of getting rid of their hair completely. It's a case of keeping it under control, managing it, making sure it's thinner, it's not growing back as quick, so they're not having to shave all the time compared to what they were. Yeah, anything you want to add to that one?
No, that's right. I mean, you know, it's being realistic from the off-start with PCOS and any of the hormone illnesses. But when you are going, you know, I do advise to have the treatment, because, you know, the hair loss, you do get a certain amount of hair loss, but not as much as everybody else would. But the hair growth is slowed down so much, and the hairs that come through are so fine, back to more, almost like your vellus hair. It's quite fluffy hair that comes through, so it's so much more manageable and a lot less obvious that you've got this hair growth issue going on. So yeah, it's the results of it, and you know, I think all of my PCOS clients will say the same. The results from that, it's been a game changer for them.
It's definitely a lot more manageable for them. They are not having to shave all the time, and they're feeling a lot more confident, being able to go out and think, you know what, it's all good now. It's really, like, it's a lot less, it's a lot thicker, a lot less thicker.
Yeah.
It's thinner. It's and they're just a lot more happy about it.
Yeah. Well, it's, I suppose, having coarse hair, you know, it can make some.
manage,
Yeah, of course it is, and certainly it's not, you know, on the body we can hide it, but we can't hide it when it's on our faces, can we? So, you know, to make it a lot finer, a lot fairer and softer, you know, it's what anybody would want who's got sort of strong hair growth.
Shall we go into a little bit about the process of hair removal? Kind of, if someone's watching this and they're thinking of it, but they haven't had a consultation, and they're kind of thinking, okay, what's involved? How many sessions is it going to be?
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. Do you want to say that one?
Yeah, go on. So when you initially come in for your consultation, we will ask you to fill out quite a lengthy form, but it's just so we can cover all of our bases, because there can be some contraindications that may mean that you won't be able to have the treatment. Obviously, we've discussed if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, you can't have the treatment while you're pregnant or while you're breastfeeding, but there are some other contraindications that can prevent you from having it.
Absolutely, and it can be things like simple things like if you're taking St. John's wort, for instance, certain medications, and that's because they're photosensitive, and that would give you sort of a reaction against the lasers. Not always, not with everybody, but it can do, and it's a risk we need to be aware of. So there are certain things.
And I think, like, people who've got epilepsy.
Absolutely.
It's pure shocks of light, basically. The light is quite intense. Obviously, you're wearing glasses. That's also a risk because you can see the light. Is there any other ones that... Any other contraindications?
There's quite a list, to be
Yeah,
fair, of
there is.
contraindications, and hence that's why we do the consultation initially. So, you know, you can tick through all the boxes and see if you have any of them. Some of them we can work around, but there's certain ones we just, it's a no-go. So, you know, for anybody who wants to have laser, then yeah, definitely come in and see us and do this consultation.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but sometimes people come in and maybe they've ticked one of these contraindications, but they might need a letter from the doctor to say they're okay to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And another one, sorry, if you do come in for a consultation, can you please make sure you haven't taken an antihistamine? Because I have so many people, certainly in the summer, and you suffer from hay fever and you've been taking antihistamines. And the reason we don't want you to take an antihistamine is because if you are going to have a reaction, the antihistamine is actually going to hide it, so we wouldn't know. So, you know, I literally have sent so many people away and said, right, come back again and don't take the antihistamines.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
I think a common question, which I know isn't that easy to answer, but everyone wants to know, how many sessions is it going to take?
Yeah, this is such a tricky one.
And I think as well, what differs with us here is that we actually only charge per session. isn't
Yeah.
it? Because a lot
Yeah.
of places say,
You need
you know,
a
you
6
have to
course.
book a course of this many, and then it seems like an alarming price to just pay, you know, straight up front.
Yeah.
So the fact that you only have to pay as you go, you know, per session. But yeah, can you
Okay,
just talk a bit more?
yeah, so it is. I mean, how long's a piece of string?
Yeah.
Every person varies. As a rough guide, and again, areas vary. So, you know, as a minimum, you're probably looking at around about 6 sessions. Now that varies on the body where that could be. It certainly wouldn't be 6 sessions if it was on the face, because that's a real hormone area. So it could be anything from 12 to 20 sessions on the face. Whereas perhaps the bikini and the underarms, you could be looking at 6 to 12 sessions. It varies. And you will go through a process, and I do warn my clients, not on the face because you don't have enough hair to notice it, but certainly on the bikini and the legs, you start looking like a chessboard. Because the laser screen we've got is a square. So it covers, it's fabulous because it covers a large area in squares. But obviously some of your hairs, depending if they're attached to the root, I'm going to do a bit of science in a minute, but it depends whether they're attached to the root or not as to whether we kill them off. So those ones that are die, so you do look a bit chessboardy, should I say, which is quite funny on the bikini line. But yeah, so your hairs are only attached to the root in your follicle for a very small amount of time. Now, when it's attached to the follicle, when you have your laser, it jumps onto the colour of your hair, travels down the hair shaft, and then hits the root when it's attached. And then it dies. So it has to be attached to the hair in order for the root to be killed off. Now, what happens is the hair in a very early stage will leave the root because a new hair has been formed, and the new hair isn't touching the old hair, even though it's pushing it out to the shaft slowly. So this is why it takes multiple sessions, because we can't see under the skin when that hair's attached.
Yeah.
So yeah, it has to travel down all the way to destroy it.
Yeah.
So is it really important then, before coming in for treatment, that people don't shave, or they don't, because like, do you need to see the hair then to...
Well, you need to see some hair.
Yeah.
Not too long, but
Just
you do
a
need to-
stubble, isn't
yeah,
it? You know, just
yeah.
something. If you can feel it like that, the laser light can grab it.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're unsure, it's better to come in with more hair than no hair.
Yeah,
We
because
can-
we'll
we'll-
clipper it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just trim it down. It's fine.
And I think, you know, personally, I've had laser hair removal, and sometimes you might think, oh, that hair, you know, my bikini area, it really bothers me, but oh god, I don't want to go in and get that done, you know, but gosh, we have seen it all, and you know, we are not bothered.
No,
Just come in.
Yeah.
I'm sure we've got it worse.
Yeah.
You know, what we've got going on down below is probably
Yeah.
worse than what you have, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, talking about that, we actually do full bikini. We do partial bikini. We'll do designer bikini lines. We'll do anything you want to do.
You show us where you want the hair gone.
Absolutely.
We'll do that.
But on that note as well, we also do men, and I think that's really important to say.
Yeah.
So we've done a lot of trans as well. So, you know, men, trans, ladies, anybody, we've done laser hair on everybody. So I think it's important to know that, you know, you can all come here, and it's quite private.
Definitely.
And you can have your treatment
Going
done.
off of that, going back to the consultation sort of situation that we were kind of drifted off from.
Yeah.
When you come into your session as well, we will then also indicate what level of the Skin Fitzpatrick scale that you're on to. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so obviously we all work without confusing people, so all of our skins work on a Fitzpatrick level. So usually roughly around one to 4 we would work with here.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1 being very pale skin and 4 being dark skin, and it works better on lighter skin and a darker hair. So if you're going on holiday, for instance, some people tan really well, like this one, and she could come home from a holiday and be a good Fitzpatrick 4 because you tan really well.
I've also found, so say I've come home from a holiday, I've waited my time and I've had, or maybe I didn't wait my time and I had my IPL done, and you can notice, ooh, that was a lot stronger than it was last time.
Because your melanin, your skin is darker,
Yeah.
so the melanin is what draws that light.
Yeah.
So because it will feel more pinchy there. So you do run more risks, obviously, if your skin is darker. We do say if you've been on holiday, wait a few weeks. We need that melanin level to drop down. But yeah, usually on a Fitzpatrick 1 to 4 we can safely do. If you're a Fitzpatrick 5, we don't advise having it done here with us because our machine is not the most suitable for Fitzpatrick 5s. There are machines out there that are, but not with us here. And I think it's also important to point out when we were talking about the consultations, the reason we do a very in-depth consultation is because lasers take a lot of training. It's not something you can just step into. It's quite a big qualification, and it's an individual qualification. It's above your normal therapy one. Plus, we have to be registered with HIW, which is the Health Inspector Wales. Now, that we have to have that license. Anybody in Wales should have that license if they've got a laser machine on their premises, and we get inspected very often, and it's a real
Very rigorous.
Yeah,
it really is.
It's the same. It's the same as hospitals, isn't
Yeah,
it? You know,
pretty
so
much.
It's
The
the same. We are
process,
classed.
it's exactly the same.
Well, we're classed as an independent hospital.
That's it. And
so-
for that reason, and
Yeah.
it's funny when I was talking to the inspectors not so long back, I was like, can they not adapt it because we're not a hospital, you know? And she was like, no, it's no different. You have to go through the same process as, let's say, Bronglice Hospital would as well for their license, which is tough on us. But you know, luckily we've had it for years and years now, and yeah,
We're proud of it.
Yeah,
We're
very
really
proud of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've just got
No,
another
no,
question.
yeah, no, go.
With the laser hair removal, they have to have a patch test
Yes.
as well before
Yes.
going ahead with treatment.
Yeah, if you
So-
haven't had a patch test, you cannot come straight in thinking you can have a session. You need to have a patch test just for us to make sure that there's nothing, you know, nothing's going wrong. You need to have a patch test. It's like with having your eyebrows done. You need a patch test to make sure you're okay with the products. You need a patch test to make sure that you're okay with the laser.
And we offer the patch test is free.
Yeah.
And when you're having a consultation, we'll do the patch test then. And it also allows us to find the right settings so that when you do come in for treatment, we're not faffing around. You're in, you're out, and the treatment's done.
I think
safely.
that's one thing a lot of my clients come in for. If they come for just a certain area like face, they're in and out within like 10 minutes and they're like, that was so quick. And I'm like, yeah, like it's quite quick and easy. You can just in and out.
We're
you know?
lucky though because not all lasers have a big screen like ours, so we cover an area quite quickly.
Yeah.
Don't we?
And downtime, you know, you can kind of carry on with your normal
yeah.
like day-to-day stuff. People come in
Definitely.
their lunch break. It's not, you know, you're not having to.
Nobody would know you're having
No.
laser.
Oh, no,
done.
definitely
I mean,
not.
we do advise afterwards, no extreme exercise, no hot tubs, jacuzzis, saunas, anything that's going to put heat into your body because the laser is a form of heat. So you don't want to put any extra heat into your body. Just to let you know, the risk you run if you've got extra heat in your body is you may get mild blistering because obviously it's an overload of heat to the body. So that is the only sort of your biggest precaution, should we say. And if you do decide to go ahead with it, you cannot wax Okay,
Yes.
you can only shave, you can't wax. You've got to throw those tweezers in the bin if you've been using them and keeping a set in the car. So you can wax and you can shave and you can trim, and that is it.
Yeah.
Many people who have in facial hair done, there's a little thing called I think it's called a no-no or a no-no on Amazon. It's the size of a lipstick, and you can literally just quick shave, but it's only for the first few times because then the growth slows down anyway, and you find you're not using it.
And the reason you can't wax or plug is because you're pulling the hair out of you're pulling it all out, and we need hair in there in order to laser it off.
We need good strong. It's like, I tell you what, it's like trimming your bush in your garden every year to make it thicker and good strong roots. That's what we need. We need good strong roots under the surface so that the laser can go down and destroy
I love
it.
how you said bush.
So it's probably a good time for me to talk a little bit about like injectables and things
Alongside,
with laser. So if you are thinking of having any injectable treatments on the face mainly, then we do advise waiting 2 weeks between any laser treatments and your fillers, Botox,
And what's the main reason for that? So?
Just because the laser will break the product down, and we don't want to do that. We're spending a lot of money.
You want the product
to stay where it is. We don't want to be breaking it down. So we just advise waiting at least 2 weeks, just for it all to settle. Yeah, either side of the laser. Probably best, to have it after you've had your laser, really, just so you've got a little bit of a longer gap.
Absolutely.
Before your next session.
And that's all injectables, isn't it?
Yeah, all injectables. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay.
Any other questions?
No, I think we've.
If you guys have any questions, please feel free. If you think that we've missed something, just drop us a little message, pop a comment in, and we can cover that as well.
Yeah. I think before we go, we just wanted to talk about our competition that we've got going. So for anyone,
it's a big one.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Hold your horses. We're about to get
Christmas
into it.
has come early. So for anyone who subscribes to our YouTube channel, where you're watching this video now, then you'll be automatically entered into our giveaway, which is worth over £400 worth of treatment. So that includes a polynucleotide session. Now that's a new treatment that we've just bought in. It's like the #1 treatment on the market at the moment for under eyes. It helps with regenerating the skin, giving a fresher appearance, great for under eyes, face, neck, chest, lots of different things. So it'd be 1 session of polynucleotides, 1 session of microneedling,
with a medical grade ampule to suit you at the time.
Perfect. And then 1 hydrofacial as well, and also a free box of collagen.
So a month's worth of collagen as well.
So all of that is worth over £400. So it's a great competition.
So you'd be silly not to subscribe.
Yeah.
And what are we here? Staff, you can't enter.
Sorry, girls.
Sorry, but we will put all the names that have subscribed onto a wheel, and we'll do it live. We'll do the draw live. What, in about 2 weeks?
2 weeks. You've got 2 weeks to subscribe and have a little look at our videos so that you can be in for the chance to win this big giveaway.
So yeah, great. Go and support us. Subscribe. Help us along in this venture.
Tell your
of
friends.
ours.
Yeah. Tell a friend. Tell a friend.
Yeah. All good.
Marvellous.
Perfect. Thank you for
Thank you very
tuning in.
much.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.